Hi, my name is Jude and you're watching Rice, Beans, and Southern Greens. Today we're going to make some boiled peanuts. Today what you're going to need is you're going to need some water. I put some in mason jars. You're going to need a pot, a colander, your peanuts, some spices, and some salt. Today the spices that I've got here with me are some granulated onion, I got some cayenne pepper, and I have some mustard, some ground dry mustard. I've also got these peanuts. I picked them up at Kroger today. They were about $10 for all of these, so pretty cheap. And the total amount of spices we'll be using is maybe 30 cents worth. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the peanuts and we're going to dump a bunch of them into the colander, and we're going to rinse them out and sort out any of the bad ones. Alright. You'll be able to tell if the peanuts are bad because generally they look kind of rotten. There's nothing too crazy about it. And we're just rinsing the peanuts because peanuts grow in the ground and sometimes they have a little bit of dirt on them. We'll just rinse that right off. And usually what you're looking for when you find a bad peanut is it's a little bit squishy on one side, kind of like it's decomposing a little bit. And if you break it apart, you can kind of see there's like some gunk in there, and that's just because it's been decomposing. You can cook them and eat them, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it. They don't taste very good. This one was also a little bit squishy at the end, so I'm throwing this one out. And when I broke it open, I could see there's a bunch of black stuff in there, so this one's no good. And then sometimes you'll get peanuts that are just the shell. This one I'm going to cook anyways because it's got a peanut in there, but you might want to throw these ones out if you're trying to make an impression. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to pour the peanuts straight into the pot, and we're going to pour in some water. Alright. Next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to season to taste. I like the mustard a lot, so I'm going to put a bunch of mustard in there. Not that much. Okay. A little bit more. And I like spicy food, so I'm going to make it very spicy with the cayenne. And then I'm going to put some granulated onion in there, like this. I like doing it like this, just taking the lid and scooping it out because it's a little bit easier, there's less dishes, and I hate doing dishes. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a knife, butter knife, and I'm just going to stir it around. You can use anything, you're just stirring it around. And this is all of your spices. And then you're going to want to salt to taste. So before you go in and add too much salt, I would add a little bit of salt at a time and stir it around and then taste it. That way you know that your peanuts aren't too salty, and when you boil them they're not, they are salty enough. I would never trust a recipe because you're dealing with water, and the water is going to evaporate, which means some of the salt is going to concentrate, and the entire time you're going to want to make sure that you're tasting the water and making sure it doesn't taste too salty or it's not salty enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's kind of spicy too. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're just going to plop this onto the stove. We're going to let it boil for maybe a couple hours, and we're going to stir it every 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, we'll just let that come to a boil, and after about 15 to 20 minutes we'll stir it up, and we'll keep doing that every 15 to 20 minutes until they taste good. Make sure when you're stirring you're kind of popping a lot of those bubbles just so they don't overflow. So since my water's getting a bit low, I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more water. Make sure all those peanuts are covered all the way. They should be getting pretty close after a couple of hours, and especially if you keep stirring them. And the way you'll know is the shell will be soft, and the peanuts on the inside will taste a little bit like boiled beans. They'll taste really good. All right, the water's boiled down again, and it looks like these are almost done. Let's go ahead and pop one open. Ooh, these guys look hot. Yep, look at that. Oh yeah, those are really good. All right, I'm gonna bring these over and turn the stove off and bring these over to the counter, and we'll get them all finished up. All right. Now all I'll have to do is put them into this bowl, and it'll be all good. All right, guys, enjoy.
Oh, this is the taste test?
Yeah.
Interesting, it's almost like a bean. Yeah. Not too salty too. Just the right amount. It is almost like a pizza bean or something, but with some added peanut flavor.
Mm-hmm.